Welcome to Screen Riot. This week's movie is Sunset Boulevard, a film noir from 1950. This episode will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's available to stream on Amazon Prime or Paramount Plus. Go check it out and come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot.
Welcome to Screen Riot, the podcast where we review movies chosen entirely by fate. If you're having difficulties finding movies to watch, then this is the podcast for you. I'm one of your hosts, Justin, and alongside me are co-hosts Eddie, Kyle, and John. And each week, one of us spins the wheel of fate, and the host must pick any movie from that genre. If you'd like to see all the movies that we've reviewed so far and how they've ranked, visit screenriot.net and have a look at the movie ratings page. At the end of each show, we'll spin and see what next week's movie is going to be so that you can follow along at home. Also, while you're at screenriot.net, make sure you head over to the support page to see all the different ways that you can help support the show. We might be adding a new tier for ASMR because of John, so check that out a little bit later.
That'd be really fun if we had an ASMR
That would be
tier.
awful. So, like Kyle said at the very beginning, we are taking a look at a film noir from 1950 called Sunset Boulevard. It is 1 hour, 50 minutes long. It has a passable rating, I'll call it.
Yes.
And it was directed by Billy Wilder.
Yeah.
So if you're unfamiliar with Billy Wilder, we've actually done one of his movies before on the show. That was a Double Indemnity from 1944.
Yes.
So we had one of his. He also did The 7-Year Itch, 1955. And probably one of my favorites, Billy Wilder movies, Some Like It Hot, in 1959. Oh, yeah. That's one of my favorite comedies
Marilyn
of all time.
Monroe, yeah.
Yep. And then he did The Apartment from 1960. So this was in the Oscars, obviously.
Yes.
Right? So 1951 Oscars. So it was nominated for, would you guys like to take a guess at how many Oscars it was nominated for?
How many Oscars?
How many Oscars it was nominated?
7.
I'm going to say 10.
10?
I don't know, 4? It's a film noir. Is it -4?
Well, it was,
How does it work?
The Academy
I don't think
wasn't.
they come to you and say,
No, the Academy doesn't come to Eddie
you
and
have
go,
to give us,
what do you think about this?
Yeah.
you have to give us your Oscars back.
We've got a great idea. Everything's going to be black and white and super dark. Oh, that's amazing. Here's more awards.
This isn't Moonlight, or what was the one that they accidentally announced wrong?
Was that Moonlight?
Oscars? It was, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was,
Yeah, whatever.
Kyle, just input a laugh track after my joke, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
So, no, actually, it was nominated for 8.
I don't need a laugh track.
Oh. 8, huh?
Because no one will ever laugh,
yeah.
even fake laughers. Okay, yes, 8 you said?
Yeah, 8. So, it was nominated for Best Actor for William Holden, Supporting Actor, Erich von Stroheim, Actress, Gloria Swanson, Supporting Actress, Nancy Olson, Cinematography for the black and white section, because remember the Oscars back then had a black and white and a color cinematography section.
Yes.
And then it had film editing, directing, and it was the Best Picture nominee.
Okay.
So it did win 3. So it was also nominated for 3 more that it won. So it won music score, writing, and art direction for black and white. Because again, this was they had a black and white and a color.
Wow.
I'm so glad once we
categories
stopped
back there.
segregating in the Oscars. You know what I mean? It's about time to just desegregate the Oscars. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So since it was nominated for Best Picture, the winner was All About Eve for that year.
Okay.
But the art direction, I did find this interesting. So it was nominated for art direction of black and white. The winner of that year for the color section of cinematography was Samson and Delilah.
Oh, really?
Which, when we go meet Cecil B. DeMille on set at Paramount, that is the movie that he was shooting at the time.
I was wondering why that was why that looked familiar.
Yeah. So they actually shot this movie on set of Samson and Delilah while he was shooting Samson and Delilah.
Damn.
Which
cool.
won art direction that year for color.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
That's
Kind of
pretty
that's
awesome.
very meta.
For that time.
Yeah. So Kyle, why did you pick this movie?
Well, I honestly, I have never seen this before, but I wanted to get something that was at the top of a list of film noirs, and Eddie really hates film noirs, and honestly,
So you wanted to give him a fair shake.
If a number 1 movie on IMDb doesn't do it, then obviously it's a lost cause. Which I have like, was it 839 more to go? So I'm getting there. It'll take us what 150 years or so, maybe of this show
I think
to
longer
get
than
through
that.
it.
It's probably
Probably longer than that. I'll be dead, but you know what? I'm gonna keep on trucking.
You can leave Eddie's kids a list.
Sure.
And
I'm just gonna say that as far as the whole genre, right? The biggest problem I have
we go again.
are the restrictions.
and that'll be the last time we hear about it during this episode.
Sure.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Like, there's no chance. Go ahead, John.
And we'll
sorry.
hear that it's a dead genre and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff too.
yeah, well, it is.
I really liked. I'm just go ahead and get into it
let's
because
get
these two
into
are going
it.
to argue.
Let's go.
Half the show.
I don't argue. I don't start it.
Um,
I picked the movies.
Go ahead, John. Sorry.
I really like the opening credits. I mean, from the get go, I'm like, wow, this is great. It's like credit, and then whenever the actual credits are done, not done, but the main stars are done, you cut to this, you fade to this black and white, obviously black and white shot of Sunset Boulevard painted on the curb.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it backs up and starts going down the road like it's trailing behind a car. And there's more credits. And then the timing on this is perfect. The credits end and cop car comes up above the hill. Mm-hmm. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. The camera's facing down towards the road, like you said. The credits going by, and then it does a quick tilt up, and then you start hearing the narrator say, "This is Sunset Boulevard," or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, "This is the 10,000 block," and then all of a sudden you see cop cars driving around, and then it does that quick swish pan too, when the paddy wagon or whatever,
when they
the
come
ambulance
by,
or whatever.
Yeah, here's the police.
Yeah, it does a swish pan to follow it, which is actually, when you think about it, now that you're mentioning it, it's kind of interesting because back then they would have had to have put that camera on a truck.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I'm not really sure how they did that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
I think it was on a truck and on a weighted crane. Where it didn't bounce, where it wasn't bouncing.
And I don't know how, unless they filmed it on a mirror and flipped the mirror, because I don't know how you can actually move one of those cameras that quick.
Right, yeah.
And I mean, I know that a lot of, like, even modern technologies, they film into a mirror to shoot, like, high-speed, like, bullets and missiles and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know how they did that shot, because switch pans back then you don't see those.
Right.
Especially in film noirs.
Yeah, I mean, you see it when I'm trying to think of this of the movie, but they use it to like go around a room really quickly to, like, was it Vertigo? I think maybe. But yeah, there's a lot. But that's what year was Vertigo? That was like 70
in the 60s or something.
Yeah, it was like 68.
Something like that. Yeah, I'll look it up.
So yeah, like maybe like 10, 15 years after this.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer, 20 years after this. But
then right after that, he's...
That was 1958.
Oh, 58.
So only 8 years after.
Okay.
Well, I really... The next thing I really liked that I was just, like, in awe over was which some you don't see this in film noir, is the underwater shot.
Oh, yeah, those were cool.
Where he's in the pool and there's an underwater shot and you see him, and I really love the line... In the end, he got himself a pool.
Yep.
But the price turned out to be a little too high.
There was a lot of, like...
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like, little lines like that where they tried to be a little punny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was classic, it was like it's quintessential film noir narrator, you know.
Which, what kind of got me was when I was first watching this, it didn't really look like the guy that was living there.
In the pool.
You're right,
Yeah, I agree with you.
Which,
yeah.
In the voiceover, like the guy that was narrating it, the main actor, Joe Gillis was the actor, but William Holden, he was narrating the whole film. Mm-hmm. He didn't actually say, let's see how I got here or something like that. Typically, they would say, or this is me in a pool or blah blah blah. It was very third person, and I liked that.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they were trying to keep it somewhat of a mystery of where the movie was going. There was a transition where they go, well, let's find the day back in May when it all started, or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
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 About how it all
started. But then it goes into first person. He's like, I was writing, and then the camera goes through that window, and we see him at a typewriter in a robe.
Yep.
Yeah, had he not said I, by the way, I was confused, because once the narrator's voice was pretty distinct. It's William Holden. And then the actor starts talking, and I was like, it doesn't sound like the same guy, but this is him. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it was just,
He might have a narrator voice and a acting voice or something.
I don't know. It just seemed that threw me a little bit. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, wait, so this is supposed to be the guy. I mean, I don't know. I assumed that it was, so eventually I just kind of forgot it, but that did throw me a little bit. I will say the cinematography across the whole movie was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of shots where it was like a static crane shot of him like coming up the stairs to walk in, like whenever he parked the car for the first time and he walks up away from the garage and he walks towards the house and all that kind of stuff. That shot it went from a wide to a tight to a wide again, and it was good the way they did it. I did appreciate that. Obviously it wasn't as dark. I could have appreciated more, but yeah, it's film noir.
I mean, I thought besides the points that we were talking about earlier with the opening and all, I thought the cinematography didn't really stand out to me as anything like crazy interesting. I thought it was
The only two
it
shots
was utilitarian.
the only two shots that actually shocked me was the switch pan and the shot underneath the water, when he was floating there.
It didn't shock me, but I liked some of the shots that they set up. Like whenever at the end, whenever she's coming down the stairs and everyone's still, and it kind of does this like follow shot, down the stairs. I appreciate that. I mean, they used some kind of, probably a crane, but they used it basically to lower it and to follow her coming down the stairs. I appreciated that shot.
Well, let me ask you this. Sure. So one of my favorite cinematographers, Conrad Hall, I saw an interview with him that said he only feels like he's done a good job if he feels that you can watch the movie without sound and still understand the plot of the movie based on the visuals.
Yeah.
Could you do that with this movie?
I think you could.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have the actual faces of people that are showing these feelings as well as speaking them.
There's only a few shots. There's only a few shots that definitely stand out to me where I can say no, but for the most part, yes. There's a shot that I can't remember exactly what the hell they were talking about because I can't. Most of the movies like that for me. There's a shot where it's over the shoulder for him, and it stays over the shoulder for him for almost the entire conversation, and he's talking to crazy lady, old lady. He's talking to her the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Norma.
It's an over-the-shoulder shot for him, and you don't see his face the entire time. Like, I'm like, this is a very strange shot. Like,
Was
he's
this
talking
towards the beginning of the movie?
No,
or?
it's like 3/4 of the way through. It's probably an hour and 20 minutes into the movie. But it's just a straight over the shoulder for him, and
So it's a part of where Norma is her descent into madness, basically.
probably. And I mean, it's focused on her for a specific reason. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, he's talking, but they never show his face. That was a weird shot. It kind of sticks out. So I would say for most of the movie, yes, but that one in particular kind of stands out to me. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could see that, though. That's an interesting measurement to be able to say whether or not you did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I did like the like when he first walked up to the mansion, he thought it was abandoned.
Yeah.
Right, and then he's greeted by Norma from this window saying, what took you so long? Get your ass up here, type thing. And so I thought he was going to play the part of the casket maker, and because he's strapped for cash, right? And he didn't. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I'm not the guy who you think I am," type thing. And but I like how they transitioned it into, "Oh, well, you're a writer," and then that's when you finally figure out who she is and like what her past was and all that kind of stuff. And this is kind of like, after watching this, it's kind of me and Eddie. Now, this is not to get into it, but like, I'm Norma, you're you're Joe. I like the old classics. It's like how they should be without the microphone. They should all be silent movies, because that's what her career was based off of. And you're like, no, the movies are, they've gone way beyond that. Let's move past the whole silent film thing.
No, the thing is, I 100% agree with you. I think that you are definitely a crazy old bitch. So I think I'm with you on this. Actually, I think we've agreed. We found a playing field we can both agree to.
I was trying to be clean, but I'm a pirate.
I'm just joking, obviously, Kyle.
But I did like the way that they did the set dressing of the mansion or whatever you want to call it. Because they didn't beat you over the head that this woman was washed up. Like, when you first meet her, you they do a good job of of art direction and set decoration and everything that's going on and the way the camera is and all that you instantly know, oh, this is a has-been. She's washed up. She's not working. She might be living off her millions.
Yeah.
But she's letting things go. You know, like her life.
Right.
And which, yeah, that's one of those things like I was talking about with the Conrad Hall thing is those are one of the things you don't have to beat into somebody through narration. You could do that through visuals, and I think they did an excellent job with that.
And as she finds purpose, again, through writing the script
and being
in a
getting cleaned up,
everything starts getting cleaned up. The yard, the pool,
the pool.
Yeah.
They get Phil in the pool and all that. Yeah.
Yep.
But one thing that I really find interesting is the casting choice of which is basically everybody. Gloria Swanson, who plays Norma Desmond, she was a silent film star.
Right.
And Erich von Stroheim, who played Max, the butler, actually directed her in a film.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
He was actually he directed her in what is the film? The film that they were watching in the
really?
Where he was the projectionist?
Where he was the projectionist, yeah, whenever they were watching it on film night or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the film that one of the films he directed her on.
Interesting. Wow. Because when we were seeing that, one of the things that I noticed about it was that shot that they were showing was like a candelabra kind of or chandelier or whatever with like candle lit and all. I'm like, man, they would have had to have back then in silent days, they would have had to have like some crazy fast lenses and I don't know how they would shoot all that with just candlelight. And I was thinking like, well, okay, they probably just did this scene for this movie like, you know, 1950.
Right.
But if that's the case, if that's really the movie, that's kind of interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe the movie was Queen. Yeah, Queen Kelly.
Queen Kelly.
Queen Kelly was the name of the film.
Do you have the year that was?
It was 1932.
32.
Oh, that's on Kyle's list
Wow.
now. Yeah, there you go.
That's too old for a film
This'll
noir.
be great.
It's a silent film. It's not a film noir.
Yeah, what is it, romance? That would be perfect. I can't wait to watch a silent film.
And
too.
of course they had Cecil B. DeMille actually played himself. And
okay, I thought that was really cool though. Too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had Buster Keaton.
Yep.
Who was a silent film star. Like everybody around that poker table, the gin rummy table, whatever they were playing.
Yeah.
H.B. Warner.
Yeah, the wax figures is what Joe kept referring to.
Hopper.
Yeah. They were all of the silent film era, which just goes into it. Just helps reinforce the whole theme of the movie of the silent films are gone, and all these old time big name actors are just kicked to the curb for the new fresh young faces and stuff like that. It's typical Hollywood stuff.
Right. So okay, let me complain about something.
Complain away.
This the first time?
Norma, right? The old woman?
Yes.
Okay. So she's supposed to be 50, right? And she's already a failed actress and all that stuff. Is she a failed... I'm asking a question. Is she a failed actress because she's a lunatic? Or is she a failed actress because she's 50? Because it appeared to me, it felt to me that they were saying that it was because she was 50.
There is a moment where Joe says, "You're too old." We're basically paraphrasing, "You're too old to be in movies nowadays."
Yeah, and he kept calling her washed up, and other people referred to her as washed up.
Yeah, but her actions throughout the movie is more self-destructive, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Like because she was getting calls from Paramount, she doesn't even want to take the calls.
Okay.
You know.
Well, they wanted the card.
But she doesn't know.
You're right.
You know?
But
it could be they want her in a film.
Okay.
Well, no, she wanted to be called by Cecil himself.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. But
like
all of her actions
the
are
upper echelon.
Yeah,
So
it's almost self-destructive that she's doing it to herself.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more that she's crazy, not so much her age. The reason I'm saying this is because whenever she goes to visit Cecil B. DeMille, there's old ladies on the set.
Right.
And I'm like, if they had made her like 80, then I could understand more of this, like, you're too old to be in Hollywood thing. I can kind of understand that. But there were people who were older than her on the set, and she's walking past them, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I'm confused by what the reason was. I thought that it was because she was crazy, but then they kept referring to her being washed up and too old and all this other shit, and I'm like, I don't understand.
So CB DeMille does have a side comment that I think helps with this.
Okay.
Somebody asks him, or when he first gets the call that she's on the lot,
set.
Yes, yeah.
right? Somebody says, Norma Desmond's here to see you, whatever. And then I can't remember what he says, but Cecil B. DeMille responds with, she was difficult to work with at her later career.
In her later
years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it might be self-destructive.
Yeah.
Because she did it to herself through her, she became egotistical. She became narcissistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also got to think too. She's had 3 ex-husbands.
Yes,
Yeah.
one of them being Max.
Yeah, that was a huge twist to me.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
When I was like, "Whoa, you're one of the ex-husbands?" Like, what?
Well, we used to bang.
Well, it's just weird that I think he. I mean, obviously he's there just because he loves her still.
Yes.
But he pretty much, and she probably downgraded him to just a butler. And in her mind, she was just like, well, you're not my husband anymore. You're now my butler or something like that.
Which again,
which is odd.
It's
just
odd.
very odd.
It's very odd. And I think
but I know
they
that
missed a little bit of an opportunity there.
He actually cares about her so much that he's willing to keep up the face of having these parties and writing these letters and all this kind of stuff just to somewhat keep her on the brink of collapsing.
Yeah.
Because if she didn't have that, then she would have deteriorated internally and like a long time ago.
Well, or successfully committed suicide.
Yes.
Because they say that she has attempted before. We don't know how many times.
Right, and she's done it at least once in the movie.
Right, and we see it happen once in the movie.
And here's what I mean when I say I think it's a missed opportunity, though. I think had they had her be slightly more crazy from the beginning, just slightly more, we could see why Max stuck around and why she kind of allowed him to stick around, even though she was, because I mean. I think he's sticking around because he loves her. I think she's allowing him to stick around because she.
Well,
I don't think.
I think she gets off on the whole ordering him around.
The power
thing,
piece of it.
I mean, and I don't think she was actually crazy because she knew what she was doing at the very beginning.
At the very beginning,
she was like, okay, I'm going to use him
Yeah.
because he needs money, but yet it's almost like not necessarily a Stockholm syndrome, but in the same lines of that.
Or reverse Stockholm.
Reverse one.
That's called kidnapping.
I think
kind of. That's how it kind of felt, and it felt to Joe the same thing. He felt like he was being held hostage,
right?
And he was like, "This isn't like a relationship, like personal relationship. This is a work relationship, and like I am your screenwriter type thing. I'm trying to edit this script down to a feasible film, to the modern age." Not some epic 5-hour film.
Yeah.
So I think she is crazy though. I think that she is so far gone into. I'm not using the word dementia in terms of actually meaning dementia. I think she's like living
headed that way.
Well, no, I think she's living in a dream world. She's living in a
She
world.
is,
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say crazy.
Well, and Max is just an enabler.
Exactly. Which again, had we kind of picked up earlier on that she was completely.
I don't know.
God, what's the
well, I mean,
word
they
I'm
do it
looking
through
for?
dialogue because Max does say that she did try to commit suicide before.
Right.
Yeah, but that's like 45 minutes into the movie.
But you
Well, I know.
you have to
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of see the progression of her getting super like beyond like, hey, I'm about to jump off a cliff type
yeah,
thing.
I guess.
And it started with the phone call, like the start of the end started with the phone call with Cecil or with
No, you know what though?
what?
It's my fault. It is obvious from the beginning. She's burying a fucking monkey. Like she's doing a funeral and speaking about a monkey like it's a person. I
Right.
should have pictured that. I should have picked up on that earlier. That's on me.
Chimps last a long time. Like,
Yeah, it's a fucking monkey.
30, 40
Nah,
years.
flush that bitch down the toilet.
Okay.
It's
You
like
can't do
it's like
bubbles that way.
it's like a big goldfish. Just eats.
Cool.
I did read something interesting.
That's why the pool wasn't full.
Exactly. That's the whole reason.
I did read something interesting though. Apparently, somebody was asking Billy Wilder how he was going to shoot the monkey burial scene, and he said, "Oh, we're just going to shoot it like every monkey burial scene."
Exactly.
From afar, from somebody that's looking down, going, "God, that's weird as shit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one more actor thing.
Yeah.
Did y'all notice who his friend Artie at the New Year's Eve party?
He looked familiar.
Oh, he looked like Lou Diamond Phillips to me.
He was not Lou Diamond Phillips.
He was his dad, Lou Diamond Phillips Jr. Senior.
Senior.
No, he's actually Jack Webb.
Oh,
yeah, who's
Sergeant Joe Friday.
yeah.
Oh,
It is, isn't
it?
it?
Is him.
Yep, a young Jack
Nice.
Webb.
Sorry, the only
Dragnet.
Joe Friday I know is Dan Aykroyd.
From Dragnet.
From Dragnet with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
we're talking about the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
you know, we were talking about you mentioning that Joe felt like he was a hostage in the house.
Yeah.
You know, they do a couple of things interesting to reinforce that idea. Obviously, they say it through dialogue and his actions and all. But the front door is like jail cell bars.
Yes.
Yeah, it's completely open.
Yeah, it's completely open, but it's, vertical bars like a jail cell is. And then they do this little thing that I love, and I don't even know if it was an accident or whatever, but when he goes, he sneaks out for the first time or something, he has that tux on, and
Yes.
he goes to the New Year's Eve party.
Yeah.
He has like a chain or a cord or something
Yes.
on his right hand side, but when he goes to leave, it gets hung up on the door, almost like it's the house isn't letting him leave. Like I don't know if that was like a happy accident thing.
I would say it probably was a happy accident.
Yeah, but I just thought it was fitting moment. If that was an accident, I'm glad that they left that in
Because to block that would be pretty difficult to do.
Yeah,
For
maybe.
a chain that's free motion or whatever, just slinging around.
I mean, it's got a large loop on it, so I think it'd be.
I guess
easy
if you
to
just
do,
brush
but-
up against the door just the right way every single time,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you'll get it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Put magnets on it. It's done.
maybe.
You got a point, actually.
It might have been, yeah.
That would pull the effect.
It's not just a pretty face, gentlemen.
They call him Practical John.
Yeah, that's what we're going with.
Well,
man.
so like the New Year's Eve party that they have before he
Oh my
goes
god!
out,
I wanted to slap those two bitches on the phone.
right?
They're annoying.
Oh,
It's
the
like-
two behind him?
Yeah.
The two that are sitting on the couch? Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
get out of the way.
Well, when they're on the phone, when he goes to
Yeah.
call, yeah.
They're
Oh my
just
God.
laughing their asses off over there.
I know the ones you're talking about. They act like the background women in a lot of these older movies. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Kinda
Like,
right,
oh, I'm a girl. What are you? I'm a chicken head. Like, just like the dumbest shit.
Well, phone calls are very expensive back then, so.
God.
But what about?
I'm talking on the phone.
But what about the party?
Well, no, like the actual the party, the 2-person party and the 4-person.
Oh yeah, the creepy party.
Yeah, the creepy party.
The creepy party.
The 4-person band,
with the four-tier cake and the big spread of food.
He's like, hey, it's 10:30. Where is everybody?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, it's just a party for us. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh,
So
okay. That's where the crazy
Peace
started
out.
happening.
Well, no,
for me.
Stephen King wrote about this called Misery.
And I thought that too. I was like, this is very close to Misery. It's
But
just,
this is very much, to me anyway, especially that part, once they get to there, I'm like, this guy deserves whatever the fuck he gets. Oh, wait, never mind. So I'm dead at the beginning of the movie. You deserve this. Like, if I'm sitting at somebody's house and all of a sudden they're like, we're going to have a dinner party tonight. Yes.
Yes.
And then, I'm the only one invited, but there's 50 other people who are all working for just us. I'm going to think one of two things. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a magical rose somewhere where you are going to turn from this hideous beast into a beautiful princess, or I'm going to end up with my ankles cracked around a 4x4. One of those two things. Neither one technically good. Just saying. It's an odd scene, to say the least.
Kyle, you said something earlier about phone calls being expensive.
Yes.
I wanted to go back. Something took me out of the film.
Oh.
It wouldn't have taken me out of the film if I'd seen it originally whenever it first came out.
Yeah.
But when they were riding in the car, and he was talking about the gold car phone.
Yes.
I'm like, what in the world? A car phone in the 50s?
yeah.
So I looked it up, and yes, they existed. Obviously,
You pulled up to a telephone pole and you hooked it up.
that's
to
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Me and my practical mind, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, you just pulled up and you just plugged in. But no, it actually worked like a police radio,
Oh.
where you picked it up and you got an operator, and they would patch you through to make a call.
So it looked like a phone.
So it was like
but
CB
It's
kinda?
actually a CB radio.
Yeah, it was
on
almost
the
like a
inside.
CB.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Cecil
but
B.
speaking
DeMille.
CB
CB
radio.
DeMille.
Wow.
Imagine
Dragnet.
that.
Oh no, I was going to Unsolved
Da-da-da.
Mysteries, sir.
Yeah.
X-Files.
But going back to the cost, a phone line back then, I read, ended up being like $3 to $8 a month to have the phone line. one of these car phones, $35 to $45 a month.
Damn.
Oh wow!
That's
And what is
expensive.
that in today's mind? Do you know?
No, I didn't look that up, but
I'll look that up real quick.
Yeah.
It's just
I did look
going.
up, however, because I was curious. Anytime there's like financial stuff in a movie, like these old movies that we watch, I'm always curious about inflation for some reason. So the car insurance that he owed, the $300,
right.
in 2021 money, it's a little over $3,400.
Oh wow, he was really behind. In his car
He was
payments.
really behind on his car
God.
payments.
Okay,
Golly.
so in 1950, $40 in today's money would be $455.
A month.
Wow.
So $455 a month just to have this car phone, and to have the car phone installed in a car that never really left the garage until he came along.
Exactly.
Because
That's
it was all
crazy.
like cobwebbed up and on bricks and shit.
But we never see them use the phone.
Well,
we
see,
do.
what I thought
She used it.
Did she?
Yes, she
oh,
used it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She called
the driver. Yeah, and he
Is that
had
what she called?
he
Yeah.
had like a little. It was almost like what you see in ships or something like that. You'd have this little microphone or something like that.
Oh, I didn't realize.
and it would
that.
go back because I thought that's what that car.
Yeah,
phone
she called
was.
Max. Yeah, that's what I thought. I laughed because she picked it up and she goes, "Driver,
Yeah.
take us to the." And so I was like, "Oh God, she's literally only like a foot away from the driver, and she's."
Well, when you have a completely cut off piece of glass and
Was there glass?
Yeah,
Oh,
there was
okay. I
glass
thought it
in
was-
between him and the back.
Okay, I
carriage
thought it was
area.
open air.
Nah, the back was open air, and I think the front was open air too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was. But if that's true with the car phone thing, even back in the 50s, it makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, that would be really expensive to have.
Yeah, I looked it up. I'm like, holy crap, that doesn't. I never knew such.
So, what did you guys think of the relationship between William Holden and Nancy Olson?
So I didn't really care for it.
Yeah,
I thought I'm glad that they didn't fall in love.
they started to.
They started
The
to.
girl definitely did. She caught feelings.
yeah.
She did. But then when they're on the movie set, they have this weird exchange of dialogue. She goes, he asks her, I remember. She's mentioning that she's gonna go get married,
Yep.
and then he says, "Well, don't you love him?" And she responds with, "Of course I love him. I've always loved him. I always will." And then she turns around and goes, "But I love you."
Well, she's like, but I'm not in love with him.
Or, but I'm not in love with him. That's what she
Yeah.
says, something like that. I was
Yeah, and
like,
I've heard that actually in modern times as well. It's like I love
But-
him, but I'm not in love with him.
Yeah, and John. So here's the problem. Justin doesn't understand human emotion.
Love.
So Justin, let me put it to you this way.
BB boo
Okay.
mansplains.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
John,
where's the gratuitous?
this
TNA?
is not a man. Hold on. This is not a mansplaining. This is a human splaining. Okay, so
Oh,
to be
really?
clear,
Okay.
Justin, like I love John, right, like a brother, but I'm not in love with John, right? Like I'm not gonna go and make dinner and whisper sweet nothings in John's ear.
So the guy's friend zoned.
What the
Yes,
hell, dude?
he's been friends. That's what she's saying anyway. She's saying
Yeah.
that the guy that she's about to marry,
She loves him, but as
Well-
kind of like a brother.
Well, it's
Like a friend.
yeah.
Well, and
friend.
here's the bitch of it. And I know relationships are like this. Like she loves this guy, and she hasn't found a guy that like lights her fire. Let's say it that way. So she marries him because he's a good friend, and she's like, I can rely on him. He's a stable guy. He's a good guy. He, life of the party in a lot of ways. He's a good guy. I'm gonna marry him, and I love him. Of course, I love him. He's a great guy.
He seems more fun than Joe.
But he doesn't. Well, but Joe's
becoming mentally unstable as the time goes on.
true, but Joe is dark and mysterious and kind of the bad boy, and he's older than her, so she's
Yeah.
got a little daddy thing, and she's like, "Listen, I like Joe. I love Joe because he lights my fire." The problem with this though is it's too damn short. She's got an infatuation with Joe.
Yep.
She's not necessarily going to be in love with Joe in 6 months, but she doesn't know that shit. And how many times have you heard of marriages that a person gets married and then 3 months later they get divorced because they find out more about the person? And it's like, oh shit, I don't love this guy or girl.
Which I think
That's what's happening to
Which I think was
Nancy.
a really cool scene at the very end when he brings her over, when he brings Nancy over to the house.
Yes, I do like that scene.
Mainly
Which showed that
because
he had a
mainly
heart.
because Norma called her and
Yeah.
said, "Ooh, get jealous, he's mine," type thing.
But it
And-
shows that he had a heart.
Well, yeah, because he's wanting her to just totally toss him into the trash.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
just get rid of everything that you see or that who I am, because I'm going to give you something so false that you cannot believe what you're hearing, and you're going to run away in disgust.
Well,
Not
I
so
think
false. So realistic.
No, so false. Well, yeah, something so crazy.
Well, no, I think what. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
I think he's trying to go. If it's, I'm worried that when I leave, she's going to kill herself, because that's what she did last time.
No, I'm talking about the young girl. I'm talking about Betty.
Oh, you're talking about that
when
one.
When
okay,
Betty came over, he was like, oh, "Okay, I'm gonna be somebody that I'm totally not.
Yeah,
I'm going to be, fake, to the point where it's just overbearing." To where Betty cannot even understand. She's like, wait, who did I even talk to earlier?
I think he was just trying to run her off.
No, that's what I mean.
That's what he's saying.
He's trying to be so fake, because that's not Joe.
Well,
he doesn't care. He doesn't care about the fancy house and the fancy garments and all that kind of stuff. No, I don't think he really does. Because he then just turns around and says, well, F you, Norma, too.
Yeah,
I'm out for both of you because I'm totally out. Because he didn't even say, he's like, I'm not going to keep your gifts because that's not me.
So okay. You're not 100% wrong, but I'm going to go with 80%. Here's what I think happened with Joe.
So I'm only 80% wrong and 20% right?
Because there's a thing. No. I think you're missing a big part of what happened with Joe. So I think Joe, the nicest thing Joe did, what happened? Okay, what's the young girl's name?
Betty.
Betty had Joe grow a heart.
Yeah.
Beginning of the movie, Joe does care about the big house, does care about the caviar and the champagne and the $400 a week or whatever the fuck Norma was paying him to be the screenwriter and all that stuff. That's why he put up with Norma's crazy shit. That's why he moved in, even though all signs point to fucking stupid move. He's like, well, wait a minute, I get to live in the lap of luxury.
Yeah, so, but he knows that all of this is just a ploy. Now, because when he was getting the coat and stuff like that at the tailor's, and the tailor was like, well, if the woman's paying for it, then might as well go for the expensive stuff. So and then that's when he goes, this is probably like a really bad idea.
I agree with you. He's got a conscience. Yeah. It's just very small at that point. Once he's hanging out with Betty and he's like, this is actually a really good person, he could easily granted, by today's standards at least, but men are men, women are women. He could easily have been like, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this young girl and at least get some because she's pretty. Why not? Mm-hmm. But he doesn't do that. Instead, he's like, listen, your future life is not with me. I'm going to chase this person off and save you from a life of being with somebody who just used up a crazy woman for the laugh of luxury.
Which he constantly said no to all these things.
He said no, but yet he lived in the house, attended the party, stayed there beyond everything else, went in the big car to Paramount Pictures, tried to use it to get a better job. He said no while saying yes a whole lot.
The gold cigarette case, the watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that he said yes to.
Okay, so there's an underlying thing though, because the main reason why he's there is to rewrite a script.
Yeah, but he's redeemable.
He's there for a challenge, and he's actually that's his main mission, is to write this script into something great.
That's what's stated.
But
again,
that changes because he doesn't even care about her script. He
just wants to take his own.
Betty.
Right.
Yeah. But he's redeemable. If he was irredeemable, the movie wouldn't make sense. It's like, okay, well then he's a bad guy who gets killed at the end. Who cares? He's redeemable. By the time he turns away and he goes away, he's now a victim because he's shunning Norma's shit.
He goes from he should be shot to a victim, and then back to he should be shot. Or vice versa.
Why do you think he should be shot at the end?
Not at the very end, but he flips that needle like a 180 really quick because he scares off Betty of saying, look at this great house. I'm actually living in luxury. You're a peasant. I don't even want to be with you anymore type thing.
But he's doing that to save her.
Right.
Yes.
So by that point, he's grown a heart, and that heart allows him to leave. That's what I've
been saying.
No,
because he's being so fake.
It's your words. So I agree with you.
He's being fake to the point where it overthrows Betty's conscience of going, oh, crap, who the hell was I talking to before? This is like somebody totally different. I'm going away.
And I agree with you. And he's doing it because his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Exactly. and he plays Norma like a fiddle, because during that scene, Norma's up there just watching the whole scene unfold. Okay. And she's like, yes, that's right. You do like all this money. You do like all these clothes. Right. Excellent. Then she goes up and sees him packing.
Yes.
And some would say, who's the real actor?
Yeah, and then totally flips that needle of going, well, F you too.
Well, no, so I don't think he flips back. I think that's the point, is by the time he
goes back to original Joe.
See, I don't think he does go back to original Joe.
Yeah.
I think whenever he turns his back on the lap of... Listen to me
He's
real fast.
walking away from Norma. He's walking away from all that stuff, so he's going back to normal Joe.
No, bro, that's what I'm telling you. I think normal Joe, the beginning of the movie Joe, not when he's shot, but once we meet him, normal Joe lives...
scrounging for
is
money.
scrounging for life and will take any lap of luxury he can get. Once we get to the end and he chases off Betty, he grows a heart, and that new conscience and heart maintains for the rest of the movie where we...
No.
Okay.
Because why would he then pack up his stuff and leave Norma?
Because he realizes that
not take any of his clothing, any of his pocket watches, any of the gold.
Because that all represents the greed that it was the reason why he was in Norma's house in the first place.
Because he goes back to his old self.
Okay, we just disagree.
Okay,
we just disagree.
He tries to leave there with everything that he had on his person to begin with. He's leaving prison.
Yes, but the reason why he was in that prison was greed.
Well, not okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. We just disagree. I think the reason why he was there,
he saw the challenge.
Yep.
He took the challenge for a ride, and he's like, you know what? I want to get off the bus. And the bus driver's like, hell no, you're not getting off the bus because I'm going too fast.
The point I'm making is that he was actually a dynamic character, not a static one. By changing,
that's what I'm saying too.
I know. We're just on different pages, bro. That's all it is.
Because he's trying to go back to a simple life. Back in he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to Ohio.
Yeah.
At the very end, yes. He's becoming his own normal self of like, you know what? I was going to move to Ohio anyways, so here I am. I'm back to where I started.
Well, wasn't he going to Ohio to escape the car insurance company?
I don't know. Did they ever say that at the beginning?
The repo men.
I think he mentioned it in the
because he was in trouble with back rent and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that at the beginning, but again, it's possible. Don't know.
Well, the movie, like this conversation, was controversial, and because it was shining light on the way that Hollywood runs.
Oh yeah,
and the way Hollywood will kick someone to the curb. I mean, you're the best thing since sliced bread 1 minute, and then the next minute you're done. Your 15 minutes of fame has passed. But it was so controversial that the working title of the film was A Can of Beans.
Nice.
A can of beans?
The working title was A Can of Beans, and they never submitted a full script to Paramount.
Wow.
They would send pieces of a script.
Weird.
Yeah, I did read that Billy Wilder had to basically shoot it almost in narration, in chronological order, because they didn't have a full script. Which
that's rough,
what's her name? Gloria Swanson basically said it helped her because it helped her get, her character descended to madness up until the last thing. And we haven't mentioned that this movie has like two really famous lines in it.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. And
which is often misquoted.
Yes, it is. As I just misquoted it, yeah. And then what's the other one?
The other one is, no, I've always been big. It's the pictures that got small.
Oh, yeah, that is a famous one.
Yeah, the I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille, which I just misquoted.
Yep.
That's like on the top 100 or something movie quotes of all time. I think that lands at something like number 4 or 7 or something.
All right, Mr. DeMille. I'm ready for my close-up.
That's the actual line.
Yeah.
I think that lands at like number 4, and then the pictures got small is somewhere around like 25 or something.
Interesting. Yeah. What's number 1?
It's a good question. What do you think is number 1?
Probably Luke, I'm Your Father.
No, it's probably Frankly My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn.
Oh, yeah,
I bet
probably.
Yep.
Oh.
From Gone with the Wind.
Well, let me look it up real
No.
quick.
Is it? Oh, yeah, Gone with the Wind. I'm thinking Casablanca.
Yeah,
I was thinking Casablanca.
So somebody nailed it.
Today,
Yeah.
Maybe not
You had
tomorrow.
that reverse,
Here's looking
by the
at
way.
you, kid.
Yeah, that's
that
what it was,
one.
Casablanca.
Frankly, My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn by Gone with the Wind. That's
Is that number 1?
That is number
Nice.
1.
Yeah, good guess.
And was it, I just said the line to you about the kid.
Casablanca, here's looking at you, kid.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Well,
yes.
here, I'll tell you the top 10 while we're here.
I'll be back.
Frankly, My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn, number 1, Gone with the Wind. Number 2 is from The Godfather. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3 is from On the Waterfront. You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender.
Yeah.
I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am. It's my best. He actually has number 2 and number 3. Number 4 is Wizard of Oz. Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Or I have a feeling we aren't not in Kansas anymore. Number
They're
5.
quotes, Justin. You have to say them. What
Yeah,
way
I was
they're
trying
written.
to-
They aren't on the screen,
Trying
right?
to quickly paraphrase.
Okay.
Paraphrase
You're
quotes.
gonna
Love
Paraphrase
it.
paraphrase the
quotes.
direct quotes.
That's
Yes.
great.
If we're gonna misquote them, might as well do it right.
That's right, screenwriter fans. Half-ass, you got it.
Yeah, here we go.
Money, please. So number 5 is Casablanca. Here's looking at you, kid.
Okay.
Number 6, Sudden Impact. Go ahead, make my day. Number 7, Sunset Boulevard. All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Number 8, Star Wars. May the Force be with you. Number 9, All About Eve.
Hold on. What do people think that you're saying? May the Force be with you. What do people?
No, I'm just listening to top 10.
No, I know, but
American
what do people think that they say? If not, may the Force be with you.
No, they're not misquoted.
These aren't
quotes.
Oh, they're
misquoted.
just.
the
Oh,
top
my
10
fault. My
quotes.
fault. My fault.
That was just me being an idiot.
I was making two things go together.
Yeah.
You're good. Go ahead. Yeah.
Number 9 from All About Eve. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night. Sorry.
Number 10. We
Number
need a bigger
10.
boat.
Taxi Driver. You talking to me?
You talking to me?
Wow.
Talking to
Interesting.
me? Yeah. You're the only one here. I fucking hate De Niro.
So,
By the way, you got that percentage flipped. I was saying you were 80% correct, 20%
I know,
right.
that's just
So
the way you said it.
Yeah, I know.
But the
But I don't want you to
No, I know,
misunderstand me.
I know.
Here. Yeah.
but the
I'm
other
just messing with you.
quote, the other quote from
misquote him.
Sunset
Yeah, I'm just misquoting
Boulevard
you.
was number 24, which is "I am big. It's the pictures that got small," which I really like that quote.
Pictures that got
That's an
small.
interesting quote there. So yeah, let's move on to budget. I
So
guess.
the budget for this film is a whopping $1.7 million.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that would be 1950s money.
So before we move on, I read something interesting. I don't know if this is true or not. So we all know that Cecil B. DeMille was an actor in this, right?
Yes.
So I read that when Billy Wilder went to C.B. DeMille and asked him to be in the movie, that he said, "I'll only do it for $10,000,
Okay.
1950s money,
Yeah, that's quite a big chunk of change.
and a Cadillac,
What?
$10,000 and a Cadillac."
And a car? Jesus.
So they agreed to it.
Well, since the price is right.
So then later, apparently Billy Wilder needed some close-ups of him. So he went back and said, "Can you come back for another day and do close-ups?" He charged him another $10,000.
What about another Cadillac?
Wow.
2 cars. I put $1 in it to get a car. Put
Yeah,
a
but
dollar
whatever $20,000 in 1950s money
Choo.
and a Cadillac
That's nuts.
for his 10 minutes on, maybe not even that on
Not
screen.
even 10 minutes.
You say $10,000?
20,000.
Oh, 20,000. 20 grand in 1950 today is $207,000.
Wow.
Damn, he made out like a bandit.
Or 227,000. Yeah. So
227,000.
over 200 grand.
So
Yeah.
that's where $20,000 went
Yeah.
of the budget.
Okay. Yep. That's that's all worth $1.75 million.
And whatever the Cadillac cost.
So was this movie a success?
Oh, yeah,
Is
sure.
it worthy of
1.7 million?
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it, is it
definitely
worthy
made
of
its money
a
back.
of a major success?
Well, considering it
Absolutely.
came out 70 years ago, I'm gonna go with it's probably made back its money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's made like $18 million at least.
I think it made back its money way before that. Because, I mean, you tell back then you've got all those phenomenal actors at the twilight of their career.
Yeah.
I think people would go see it. It would be
Maybe
almost
like a nostalgia
like
movie?
Yeah, well, it would almost be like
The
Expendables. Yeah, they spend all
I
the
knew-
action
I
stars
knew-
in one film.
I knew you were gonna go there.
Or even better though,
Ghostbusters.
Red, the Red series, where you've got the it's an action film, but it's got like the upper echelon
Yesteryears.
actors.
Yeah.
It's got Morgan Freeman and
But the Expendables isn't
all the other guys.
the Expendables isn't a success. I mean, it's considered.
I think financially they are.
Fine.
I mean,
Actually,
it
it's
may
a
be, but
success.
everybody makes fun of it. It's like one of the worst. I mean, it's
Yeah, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. Those guys.
Sylvester Stallone.
Hey. Well, I think you know what? If I can make a movie and it's terrible and it still makes money, I won.
Yep.
I won.
Me, this
Wow.
guy right here.
You and
So-
the guy who made Deep Impact are fucking. You're doing a
you
great
go.
job. Yeah.
Made money.
I like Deep Impact better than Blair Witch.
The movie made honestly kind of a measly $5 million according to Wikipedia anyway. So I don't know if that's
That's
True or
still, that's
not.
still a financial success.
yeah
Of 1.7 to 5.
for sure. But it's not like something that's grand.
Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes gives Sunset Boulevard, I'll go with audience first, a 95%.
Okay.
And the critics give it a 98%.
Yeah.
So, two very high scores
Yeah.
for Rotten Tomatoes. So, Kyle, since you're lucky contestant number one,
Yeah, number uno.
you get to score it.
Yeah, so with this film, for being an hour and 50 minutes for a film noir, that's a pretty hefty time slot. In some cases, the movie was a tad bit slow, especially with, I guess, with the offshoot with him and Betty.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, let's continue. Let's go back to the crazy lady. That was more entertaining. I thought everything was shot really well. The art or the set design was incredible with that mansion, and the time, not the time lapse, but the actual progression of, with their relationship with Norma and Joe's relationship getting better, quote unquote. Everything seems to be happy and grand and all that kind of stuff, but it's more of a facade than anything. From the looks on the outside, everything is really great for them and everything, but it's really not. Like, the interior of the house is still old. It's still all about her and all that kind of stuff. But I think I'm going to give this film an 8.6.
Okay, an 8.6 for Kyle. John?
I love the movie. The filmmaking is superb. The acting's classic film noir, and to me, it's spot on. I love the fact that we're being told a story by a dead man, and we can see him going down that rabbit hole to his demise.
Yeah.
And we just don't know how he gets there. But once we start building that puzzle, and it was exciting to me to watch that happen. If I changed anything about it, it would probably be to flesh out Betty and Joe's relationship a little more.
Yeah.
Like, to me, they fell in love just a little too blah.
It's like she just fell into his lap.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here we go. Yeah, I love you, but I mean, you only really talked 3 times.
Yeah.
That we saw.
Right.
And perhaps maybe Norma, instead of just calling her like Bart calls Mo at the bar, Norma maybe goes after her or confronts her.
Yeah.
With the gun.
Yeah, with the gun or something,
So that it can come back later. Chekhov's gun. Norma's gun.
Exactly. Then it might be called Norma's gun. It's
Right.
like, yeah.
And a heavy suicidal person was able to hide a gun forever.
Right, exactly. No, she went out and
No,
bought
she
it.
went about
Oh, she went and bought
Yeah,
it.
she went and bought a gun. But we thought we thought she was just joking about it.
Oh.
She had to show us the gun.
Damn.
But no, I really do like the movie. I think this is probably my favorite film noir that we've watched since being on the show. Since doing the show. I am going to give this a solid 9.
9 for John. Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Kyle. It feels a little long for me, but I did enjoy it. It kept me interested. Some of the dialogue, I'm not a punny guy, so all the puns kind of were like, kind of thing. I don't think this was my favorite film noir that we watched on the show. I think I liked The Big Heat the
better.
most. Yeah. I like that storyline, I think. I've never seen this movie, so I'm glad I watched it to see where the 2 famous lines that I knew of came from and in what context and all. And I did like, seeing Cecil B. DeMille in the movie and all, knowing who he was and all. So, but it is enjoyable to me. I did find it interesting. I'm gonna give it 7.5.
I'm going to say this. It was better than any of the film noirs we watched by a lot. However,
I knew there was a however.
The constant narration thing drove me insane. It felt like every, 10 minutes, instead of just watching the movie, I have this voice. And by the way, this is what we were thinking. And we were going to go here, and then we were going to go there. And then I thought to myself, should I do this? Should I not? Like I don't need that much narration in a movie. there are movies that have narration like that give inner thoughts of the characters and stuff, and I can think of movies that
It's
I
more like a subconscious than a narration.
and this is not. This is very much the narration,
Right.
and that part alone kind of drives me nuts. I like the cinematography overall. I know that apparently I'm one of like nobody that did, but I do like the cinematography.
It was nominated for cinematography.
Well, I know, but I mean, I was for a 1950s film, I was more impressed by that than I was a lot of the other stuff. I don't personally really care for the dialogue, but at the same time, the only reason I can say that is that I felt like it felt very long-winded. Like there were moments where I was like, people don't talk like nobody talks like this. It's going and going and going, and it's not getting to a point. I think that added to the runtime. I did like the main character for most of the movie. I felt like he was a natural acting person, not Max. I didn't like Max very much. I felt like he was a stodgy, like caricature of a person, not a real person.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
And
yeah.
that bugs me.
But you know what? I watched a few, not interviews with him, but I've watched a few people talking about him.
Yeah.
And when they do impressions of him,
Yeah.
that's him.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no doubt that he's devoid of a personality. It's very hard for me to enjoy a movie with a person like that.
Yeah.
I like the main actress, and I'm going to say this. The only reason that her voice delivery thing didn't drive me insane is because she was playing a 1930s, 40s, 50s actress with that stupid fucking voice. That like, yes, I would talk like this and everything. Like they're channeling Dracula.
Right.
Like that. I just can't stand that overacting, stage acting voice. It drives me insane. I like the young girl, Betty. What's her name?
Yeah.
Betty. I liked her. Okay. She wasn't anything I would write home about, but whatever. Rewatchability for me for this is very low. I feel like I've seen it. I don't have a desire to watch it again. I just don't have that. But again, it was definitely one of the better film noirs. So for me, I'm going to put it at a 5.2.
Wow.
That's
That's
probably
high for you.
I felt like I just won the lottery.
I know, right?
Well, the Big Heat scored just lower than that for me, and it was better than the Big Heat, but still not it's not a film. It's not a style of film I enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Right.
It just
Right.
doesn't.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
would
mean-
never know on the show. Never know.
Well, I feel like I'm glad I'm hiding my feelings. Then.
Yeah,
that's good.
There-
Yeah,
there's-
keep
I
them.
don't want to give too much.
One
Yeah.
funny thing I do want to
Keep 'em that way.
say
Bury
here
the lead.
about Max, about the
The Butler guy.
Butler guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a real life interview with I forget the guy. It was I forget who he was talking who was doing the interview, but he said I was talking to him and I really admired him and I said, Erich, you were 10 years ahead of your time. And he says 20. So he thought he was the
So you
shit.
thought, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So with that,
Yep.
Sunset Boulevard gets a screenwriter score of 7.6.
Cool.
Nice, I can live with that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we're gonna have to regardless.
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
It's the
and-
numbers.
we can rejoice in probably one of the highest scores Eddie has ever given a film. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty up there.
It is pretty up
Especially
there.
for a film noir. Damn.
Yeah.
Color of Money, Big Hero 6 territory
Yeah.
is and Jacob's Ladder, roughly, and
Yeah.
1 hour photo. It looks like,
Oh, okay.
which is interesting.
Nice.
Interesting. So we need to spin to see who he's going to pick, and it's between John, Eddie, and myself, right?
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Tink, tink, tink.
And it's going to be me. It's going to be John.
John.
What's left? What genres?
Yeah, what genres are left?
We have comedy, drama, mystery, romance, sci-fi, sports film, and thriller.
Interesting. I bet you get sci-fi, you bastard.
Yeah, probably will.
I think it's going to be romance.
I hope it is romance.
Okay.
That would be interesting.
I'd love to see John Wayne in another romance. Go ahead, John.
Yes. I've been typecasted with film
I
noirs.
should just...
John's been typecasted with John Wayne movies. This
That's
is
funny.
great.
All right, Pilgrims, let's ride.
Let's go, Pilgrim.
I mean, because in
Mystery.
Okay. It was almost
John Wayne
romance.
do any mysteries? The Duke trying to figure out who stole the cattle?
All right, let me find my list.
If you guys are waiting while John picks a video or a movie, I should say, that we're going to watch, you probably should join the Patreon club because we we don't cut for them. We just keep it rolling so they get to hear all the fart jokes and all the times that jokes. Kyle and I really get into it. You know what I mean? When the fistfights actually break out.
But the dick jokes are on point.
That's a good point. God. You got a point. Yeah. So again, if you're not a Patreon, you should jump over and go to patreon.com/screenwriter to become a Patreon. We'd love your money. It helps us to keep the show going, and we'd really appreciate it. Again, while John's trying to pick a movie from all the 1970s westerns that happen to be romances.
And plus, if you also join
mysteries,
if you also join one of the Patreon tiers, you get to participate in the picking of the season finale review that we do at the end.
You can help us pick the season finale film, and I don't know, that's always a fun time too. So again, jump over to patreon.com/screenwriter. And by the way, what was it? It's not romance. Mystery,
yeah.
Sorry, what 1970s Western mysteries we have.
Okay, so I am going to pick Midnight in the Switchgrass.
Have you seen this?
I have never even heard of this.
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Bruce Willis, Megan Fox, and Emily Hirsch.
Ooh.
Directed by Randall Emmett.
Okay.
It's rated R, and the description is an FBI agent and Florida State officer team up to investigate a string of unsolved murder cases.
Okay.
And it's called Midnight in the Switchgrass?
Midnight in the Switchgrass.
Huh, never heard of it. And you said it's 2021?
2021.
Okay. Well, if you want to join along at home, go to justwatch.com, look up Midnight in the Switchgrass, and we'll review that next week, next Saturday, so we'll see you then.
See ya.
See ya.
Later.